Yeah, a related question, a little off the script, but you talked about the things that the Indians do for the community. I'm going to ask you guys all to expand on that a little bit because regardless of the size of the actual business, the three teams have a real deep impact on the psyche of the community, on the identification of the community. Can you guys talk a little bit more about what you do in the community, not only to give back, but to connect yourselves with the population in Northeast Ohio?
I mean, I think football probably does the best job of getting their players out and identifying the community. We have some inherent challenges due to our schedule. 162 games, 81, right? Is that right? 82 games. There are challenges within the number of games that we play in getting our players out in the community, and the fact that our players maybe are not residing here all year round. They have greater control over their players. Again, that goes back to the CBA, and they do a fantastic job of getting their players out. I don't think that can limit what our effort is or what the Cavaliers' efforts are to be present in the community. Obviously, the Cavaliers just led an effort that has a chance to impact the whole landscape of the financial business of this city. But again, I think it gets back to, it starts with us, with our ownership. One of the main tenets behind buying the team was to impact the community and use it as a platform to impact the community on a very personal level. And I think you're seeing it night in, night out with the Cavs now when I'm downtown. I know just 2 years ago when we were playing, one game away from the World Series, throughout the pennant stretch, throughout the playoffs, I was here in the mid-'90s. It's a spiritual level and an energy that you have the impact, the potential impact to lift up an entire city's spirit. So there's a tangible business and economic impact, and there's a spiritual and energetic impact, looking at the way families are, looking at the energy that exists downtown, the peripheral income for all the businesses downtown that can come from focusing and committing to winning games and creating a winning franchise. So there's maybe a non-tangential role charitably. There's a very tangential role that winning has ripple effects throughout the entire city.
Absolutely.
I think all three franchises do a great job of trying to give back certainly from a charitable perspective, whether it be not only through players, but also through direct dollars, through autographed items. I mean, measuring in hundreds of thousands of dollars annually from that standpoint. But as Mark alluded to, I'll just ask a question for the audience. We get the chance to ask questions back. So how many of you ever heard of Manchester United? Okay. Manchester United is the most powerful brand in the world, the sports world. It's a huge brand. It plays in the Premier League. If you had not heard of Manchester United, the odds of you maybe hearing about Manchester or knowing about Manchester, England, are probably pretty small, to that extent. But sports are a portal for the rest of the world to our marketplace. So from a Cavaliers end, we're on national TV 33 times. And you ever see those what they call interstitials? Right? Jim Libator knows about. Great, Jim. So when you come in and out of the broadcast, you have the beauty shot. Like for Monday Night Football, watching the game, you have beautiful shots of the lake. And you have the wonderful presentation. From a Chamber of Commerce, from a Positively Cleveland standpoint, you can't buy that type of, in terms of presenting Cleveland in an unbelievable positive fashion. So let's play this out from a Cavs end. We have 33 games on national TV in addition to all the games we have regionally on this front. Our games, since we're one of the three most heavily televised teams in the league, are broadcast in 224 countries internationally. In China alone, our games in China, we're one of the top televised teams in China, but even for our finals games, we had over 100 million Chinese watching per game. And when we go over to China now, they know Cleveland. And you know what? They think positively of Cleveland. They look at Cleveland as this wonderful place, on the lake. That's super. So I put that out there as we live in our market in our region, but you got to understand, that the sports franchise, and like again, the Manchester United analogy, is we are a portal to the rest of the world. And you know what? We have a pretty great story to tell on that front, and the more that we can take advantage of that platform, the better we will all be off.
I think, again, building on many of these points, going beyond the city of Cleveland, with the Browns, we're very fortunate. We have a very passionate fan base, not only in Ohio, but outside of Ohio. Our fan group, the Browns Backers, has a membership of over 90,000. So 90,000 people worldwide. We have over 300 clubs. They're in almost 50 states and throughout the world. This for the Monday night game, we had in a group from Perth, Australia. Each week, when we have a home game, we dedicate 600 tickets for Browns backers, and that means that Browns backers, many of whom are coming in from out of town, They'll stay in our hotels, they'll eat at our restaurants, they'll experience Cleveland, and they'll go back to wherever they're from and talk about how good Cleveland is. So for us, just another smaller area to do it. As Mark said, we're fortunate in that we have a routine once the season starts. The players have their day off is Tuesday, and we get the players out into the community on Tuesdays. We have a great group of guys that want to do this. It's not just something like they have to check the box. They want to get out there. They want to visit hospitals. They want to visit schools. They want to get into the community. And as part of it, we think it's very important for us to give back. And through our community relations group, as well as our sales and marketing function, we have partnerships. We have a partnership with the Cleveland Clinic, and we put the Vision Van. The Vision Van goes out into the inner city schools and allows children to get eye exams. Well, the first year we did this in 2006, we thought it was a great thing until we realized the eye exams, the prescriptions were not getting filled. So the kids would go home with prescriptions and wouldn't get them filled. So the next year we stepped it up and we actually had the eyeglasses filled and sent to their homes. And so it's been a very successful program. You look at a little smaller basis with a company like Majestic Steel, a local company, they wanted to have field refurbishment. And what we did was we partnered with them and we rebuilt one of the Muni fields in Cleveland and got an NFL grant for that. So again, bringing more dollars into the community, giving back to the community. And lastly, as Mark alluded, it starts kind of with the top down, the Lerner family. The Lerner family in Cleveland, you don't have to do a whole lot of reading to find out what they give, and they're very, very generous. Some of it behind the scenes that people don't know about, that's just the way they are, but some of it not so much behind the scenes because they think it's important for a sports team and a family that's doing well in Cleveland to continue to give back and make the local economy flourish and succeed.
Yeah, I'd say anecdotally, I would think based on Cleveland being such a deep-rooted community, not a very transient place, not like a Phoenix or an Atlanta, I think that our main pro sports teams probably affect the psyche of our community as much, if not more, than any place in the country, which adds a lot of pressure to you guys, by the way.
There's a passion there.
Absolutely.
It works both ways.
Yep.
Dave, just one add on to, because we're sort of talking on this theme, if I can just add to this, the mix, but this is really just a put this out there that to give credit to our city fathers, and certainly predating myself and Mike, but Mark, you're probably around in this front, but some good decisions were made that really tie into the overall impact in the market. So Gateway. Can you imagine if Gateway had not happened? First of all, all the impact we have going on from this venue here taking place out in Richfield. Nothing wrong with, I'm not picking on Richfield other than you're driving down a little 2-lane road and then all of a sudden there's this asphalt jungle and there's a venue. And that was the extent, and it was exciting for the games and events that were out there, but can you imagine that not taking place here in the Energy downtown? If to that extent, very real jeopardy that the Indians would be in another market from that perspective. And then we also know what the pain was like when the Browns left and now came back. And all three teams downtown, part of the landscape, part of the overall environment, and what takes place. So we had very real, we were that close in a lot of respects of not having any of the teams downtown. Can you imagine what that would have been like, or the venues and the energy that all brings? So just sort of credit to the city and county fathers for making, really being prescient to be able to make that happen. I think Gateway, though, what was it? They voted by, I heard,
voters,
yeah, voted by like 1/10 of a percent. Now you can't find anybody who had voted against it at this point.
Right,
so.
right.